Jeddah, the CONCACAF qualifying section was it was so competitive. It was pretty exciting as well. I think there's only 3 points between yourselves, Canada, Mexico, and Costa Rica. Everyone qualified out of them in the end as well. What's your assessment of that campaign?
I mean, the main takeaway was that we achieved our goal. Our goal was going into it to qualify for the World Cup, and we managed to qualify automatically without having to go through a playoff. So we achieved our goal. Thought at times, we showed real quality, determination, grit as a team. Definitely all grew together, and then other times, we struggled and we had a lot to learn from. So, overall, it was an amazing experience.
Do you think having such a competitive qualifying section stands you in good stead for the World Cup? Because anyone who qualified had to really earn their place there.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you look at some of the teams who you might not have expected to do as well, they were tough games. So even our first games going into it, early on, dropping points to El Salvador, losing at Panama away, things like that. Like, it just showed that you had to really be at the top of your form, and then teams like Canada, Mexico, who are our closest rivals, performing really well. So competitive fixtures every international window was a big help for us.
Do you feel like you've really established yourself on the international stage with this qualification over the last year or so?
Yeah, I definitely feel so. So obviously when earlier on in my career, through this cycle, it was around the first Gold Cup that I got left out. And, it was unfortunate for me, and I didn't really feel like I had much of a place in the team. But then, pretty much apart from the one game that was, in a red zone for COVID reasons, that was the only game I'd missed out on in this qualifying. I appeared in every other game. So I felt like I really cemented my place as someone who's useful to the team and that could be relied on.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, you seem to have nailed down that left back spot now. I'm sure you're not taking anything for granted, but that's got to get you even more excited for the upcoming World Cup.
Yeah, I mean, everyone's dream is to be able to go to the World Cup, play, be competitive. So the fact that I've started a lot of games going into it, and I feel confident in the role and what's expected of me. Even club-wise, I feel like I'm playing well now as well heading into it. So I feel like for me, all things are looking good, and it's just getting there and staying fit and looking up.
In your World Cup group, there's obviously quite a few subplots. We'll talk about Wales first. Looking forward to coming up against some club teammates in that one.
Yeah. Can't wait. We speak about it, quite frequently throughout the weeks while we're preparing for games. If I do a dodgy tackle on him in training, he's like, "Well, watch out what you're doing." I'm saying it'll be worse in the World Cup when we're actually playing against each other. But it does give you confidence, sort of knowing the opponents. Like even for England and Wales, I'm familiar with a lot of the players, so just that familiarity gives you a bit more comfort that that you can succeed.
What were your thoughts when watching the draw and you see England and the United States drawn in the same group?
Yeah, I was made up. I mean, obviously, you'd like a favourable group, but to get England out of, they're probably one of the teams going into it who are favourite to win after their recent tournament experience. But, growing up here, living here my whole life, it was, meant a lot that, it's going to be a really big game. And then drawing Wales as well. So it was just two sets of teams I'm really familiar with, and I know a good opposition. Obviously played Wales before. So I was buzzing with that group.
Who are your mates going to be rooting for in England versus the States?
I know all my mates from home are going to be rooting for USA. They're not going to care about England.
Good loyalty, that.
Yeah.
As a young player, when you're coming through the ranks at Everton, I'm sure going to a World Cup at some stage was a target for you, but maybe the only variable would be sort of which team you'd be representing. Yeah,
I never really. When I was very young, I might have thought, one day I'll play for the World Cup, play for England. And then, when I actually sort of sank in, the realities of football and, at the time, international football wasn't even a factor for me when I was younger. The lads who were probably more important players than me at the time coming through the academy, they were playing for England and stuff, and I didn't play for anyone. I barely played at Everton. So to get that first international call up for the US youth team, meant a lot to me. And going forward, I knew that was who I wanted to play for, who I wanted to represent, and it's sort of come full circle from that now. We've
spoken before about the young talent that's in this state squad. Is there a lot of optimism over there that this can be a successful tournament?
I'd say so. Yeah, I think they know that as long as going into it, God willing, everyone's healthy and doing well, that we've got a real chance at making a name for ourselves at this tournament. It's obviously going to be a case of making sure everyone's there and firing and getting it right. But when we're over there, it's, we've only got the players we've got. We've got to all work hard and try and get the results. But I think definitely everyone knows that we've got a really talented group. Admittedly, a young group. Like, I'm kind of one of the older guys on the team now. Like, I think our average age of qualifying was like 22 or something like that. So, it is wild how young the team is. But through that, it comes with a lot of determination, energy, and passion for the game.
Have you got many who are able to go out and support you in Qatar?
Yeah, I think I've got 8 people coming, friends and family. Missus, my baby's going to be out there, so plenty to fight for.
And what's it just going to mean to you to compete at a World Cup?
For one thing, I definitely don't want to just turn up and just take part, exit the group early and go home. Like, it'll mean a lot more to me if I go there and we all perform well. Do our jobs, and then if we can hold our heads up and say, look, we've given it everything and it wasn't enough, then I think that'll mean everything to me. But if we go and have a really disappointing tournament, that will be upsetting. But to even be in the frame and speaking about it, that like I'm expected to go to a World Cup, from where my career has been and from where my youth career had been, to now, like, it means everything, and it just shows how much to me that I've developed as a player.
And I suppose the fact that we're in the Premier League and your performances have been at such a high standard, that can only give you extra confidence going into a tournament against the best players in the world. Yeah,
no, I'm feeling like this year I'm playing some of the best football I've played, feeling the most confident I have felt in a long time. So yeah, going into the World Cup, it's the same sort of feeling that I have here with Fulham. Like, now I feel like we've turned the corner. We have a mindset where we go into every game feeling like, we can take something, we can win, we can be competitive. So I feel like I'll have that exact same mindset for the US going into every game, that we can take something, be competitive, show our quality, and then hopefully, get out of the group stages, and when it's knockouts, anything can happen.
Yeah, my last question was going to be, what is the expectation? Is it one game at a time and just get as far as you possibly can? Yeah,
that's exactly it. It's going to be, one game at a time. So the most important game at the minute is that Wales game, trying to get off to a good start, but every day is just going to be trying to make sure we're all as right as we can going into the next day, so that the next game we play is going to give us the best chance for success.
Cheers, Jed. Best of luck.
Cheers, thank you.